Imagine you are standing in a grocery store aisle. You are holding a bag of premium coffee. It costs $3 more than the generic brand. You have the money in your account. You worked 40 hours this week. You have no debt. But your stomach begins to tighten. A voice in your head tells you that you are being selfish, that this is a waste. You put the coffee back. You buy the brand that tastes like paper. You walk to your car feeling a strange sense of safety, but also a deep, quiet sadness. This isn't just about $3. It lives in your psyche. The relationship between a person and their money is complex. It operates on levels we rarely see. When you feel guilt for spending, you aren't just being frugal. You are responding to a psychological script written long ago. Money is one of the few things people truly inhabit mentally. It is not just paper or numbers on a screen. It is an experience. You might spend more time thinking about money than sitting in your own bedroom. When you choose not to spend, you are choosing a specific form of safety, much like choosing a lock for a door, except this lock moves with you. It broadcasts your identity to yourself. It tells you who you are allowed to be. Research shows that people form emotional attachments to their savings. The bank balance becomes a physical manifestation of who they want to be. A 30-year-old with a steady job might still eat ramen. The food doesn't match their reality, but it matches their fear. It represents protection, a future where they are never hungry. Consider the research of Scott Rick, a professor at the University of Michigan. He studied what he called the pain of paying and found two distinct groups, spendthrifts and tightwads. Spendthrifts don't feel enough pain when they spend. They wake up with a spending hangover. But tightwads feel too much pain. For a tightwad, spending money feels like a physical blow, not a logical choice, but an emotional reflex. This is what we call money guilt. It is a form of hypervigilance. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always preparing for catastrophe, even when the sun is shining. Your brain has linked spending with danger and saving with survival. There is a woman named Elena. She is a successful architect in Chicago. She earns 6 figures and lives in a beautiful apartment. But Elena cannot buy a new winter coat. Her current coat is 8 years old, thin and gray with a hole in the pocket. When she goes to the mall, she freezes at the price tags and feels like a criminal. Why? Because Elena grew up in a house of maybe. Her father lost his job 3 times. Every dinner was a discussion of what they couldn't afford. She lived in 5 different apartments before she was 12. The bank account became her only constant. Every dollar saved was a mark of stability in an unstable life. This reveals a crucial psychological driver, the need for control. In a world where so much feels uncertain, a high balance represents a domain of autonomy. You decide the numbers. It is a small kingdom where you are the absolute authority.
There is a neurological element here. It is often overlooked. Money guilt is fundamentally a brain response. Neuroscience research shows something fascinating. When people think about spending, a specific part of the brain lights up. It is called the insula. This is the same part of the brain that processes physical pain. It processes disgusting smells. For someone with money guilt, the insula is hyperactive. When you see a high price tag, your brain reacts as if you were punched. It releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your brain is trying to protect you. It thinks the loss of money is a loss of life. It is the same response a writer gets when they face a blank page or a runner gets at the start of a race. The dopamine hit of a purchase is blocked. It is strangled by the insula. The pain is real. The pain is powerful. But there is a darker side. Some people use guilt as a form of compensation, what researchers call compensatory deprivation. It is when people deny themselves to make up for perceived flaws. In studies, many people with extreme spending guilt felt they didn't deserve nice things. They felt like frauds in their own lives. The old shoes and the cheap meals were a way of staying humble, of hiding. They were a way of hiding. The guilt became a tool for self-punishment. It was a way of demanding penance. This doesn't mean all frugality is bad. That would be inaccurate. We must acknowledge this spectrum. Some guilt comes from passion for a goal. Other guilt comes from a deep wound that says you are not enough. There is also the element of mastery. Humans are wired to seek competence. Many people who feel guilty spending don't just save, they learn the entire system. They watch tutorials, read tax codes, build spreadsheets. This journey produces what psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called the flow state, total immersion in a challenge that's not too hard and not too easy. Many saving enthusiasts feel this when they find a deal. You are not just saving money, you are winning a game. You are beating the system. Consider a couple in Seattle who spent 3 years saving every penny for a house. The husband mentioned something revealing. Those years of no were the best years. They sat on the floor of an empty apartment eating cheap beans, talking for hours about dreams and the future. The shared guilt became a medium for connection. It was a shared project that facilitated emotional bonding. This extends to society. Extreme saving creates events and rituals. People drive hours to attend frugal meetups. They admire each other's discipline. These gatherings fulfill social needs that modern, screen-dominated life often fails to provide. Humans evolved in tight-knit groups. When life fails to deliver that, we find it in our habits. Finally, the rebellion is embedded in the guilt. Every society expects you to consume. Modern life is built on yes and more. Choosing no is a form of nonviolent protest. It says you do not accept the norm. Psychologically, this establishes individual identity. Nobody gets hurt, but it provides the deep satisfaction of autonomy. You are not a sheep, you are the shepherd of your resources. Understanding all of this reveals something about all of us. We all seek self-expression. We all need safety. We all want control. The person with money guilt isn't different. They have simply found a specific avenue. For some, it is art. For others, it is cars. For you, it might be the bank balance. The next time you feel that sting of guilt, remember the human behind it. There is a story being told. There is an identity being expressed. Your money isn't just currency. It is therapy. It is a powerful package of who you are. If this sounds like you, subscribe. Also, make sure to check out our next video on the psychology of people obsessed with saving money. See you there.